Hey, 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 scrappy people. Happy Over the Moon Sunday. Today we are going to be scrapbooking this traveler's notebook or life crafted layout. But first we are going to be starting with a tutorial in Photoshop on how to recolor those adorable glasses. So as you can see, my boys here have on some cute heart-shaped glasses, and I only have red glasses in the Over the Moon collection. This is from the digital kit, so they have lots of texture. So I need to recolor these red glasses teal. So I'm going to create a duplicate of the red glasses, and then I'm going to drag in one of the embellishments from the digital kit that has the color that I want. So I'm going to take this heart right here that has this teal that I want, and I'm going to use my eyedropper tool, and I'm going to sample this heart when I create a color fill layer. So I just clicked right on that blue heart, and I'm going to set it to color. But as you can see, it is super dark. So I'm going to drag this heart right on top of the glasses so that I can now create a levels layer. And I'm going to drag the slider until the teal glasses are the right color. And then I'm going to clip it to the glasses layer and the color fill layer so that only the teal layer turns that light color and not the red layer. So as you can see, they match perfectly now. So I'm going to go ahead and print them out. I printed out quite a few copies. I actually had a plan for this layout before I started that didn't end up coming to fruition. So we're kind of starting with that plan here, but I'm just going to ignore all of the parts of that plan because I just decided along the way that I just didn't want to do it. It didn't look right to me. And I love all of these glasses stacked up on top of each other, but I printed them on acetate, and you can't really tell that they are printed on acetate here. Like it totally takes away from the whole point of taking or printing them on acetate. So instead, I'm just going to do something else, but I am working on the other side of this layout with the actual photos. So I'm going to do that, and then we will switch up what we're doing on the left-hand side. So I couldn't decide what I wanted to do for this layout. Like I was really struggling. Even with these adorable acetate glasses, I was just having a hard time. So I did end up matting this photo on all of those patterned cards, and then I put it on that traveler's notebook paper that is the airmail envelope, and I decided to pair it with the traveler's notebook signature that was an airmail envelope as well, but it has the journaling lines. And I'm going to go ahead and print my journaling on this already printed traveler's notebook signature, and I will walk you through how I do that as well. But first I need to figure out what I'm doing with these acetate glasses, because I am on the struggle bus for real, but we are going to get there and it is going to be adorable. But I have to move things around first because this is just not working for me. So I'm going to go ahead and pull off this whole photo cluster with the patterned cards and everything, and I'm going to move it down so that I can put these heart glasses on top of the photos sort of leading up into the stamps, and I think that creates a better balance than putting them either like framing the top and bottom of the cluster or whatever it was I was going to do. And instead of gluing these down, because you will be able to see any kind of glue through the acetate, I'm just going to go ahead and staple them sort of as inconspicuously as possible. It's easier on the red glasses because it is a bit darker, but no big deal. Texture is a part of the process here. We're okay with some staple texture. So I'm just going to rearrange, realign things so that those hearts look right. But I am really struggling even with this composition because of all of that white space. So you can see me sort of auditioning titles and all kinds of things for that space, and nothing is quite working out for me. So I go ahead and bounce over to the other side of the page. I'm not going to stick down this tag first, or this tag yet, because I need to print my journaling cards first, or my journaling cards, my journaling on this card. That's what I meant. My journaling on this card first, but I am making sure that it's going to fit and deciding where I'm going to start my journaling, which is going to be underneath that stamp, because that tag is going to take up a lot of room up there. I thought maybe I was going to use these folded stars from the digital kit, but they are definitely too big for this composition. They stay there for a little while, but I don't end up using them. This whole page was a lot of trial and error, and sometimes it's like that. Sometimes you go in with an idea and things change, and eventually you have to start over and regroup, and that is kind of what I did with this layout. I do love how it turned out in the end, and it is a really great sentimental layout about how my husband and my middle son are just basically the same person, but it took me a minute to get there composition-wise before I was happy. I kept trying to use that "you give me hard eyes" word bit, but the repetition of the glasses kept throwing me off a little bit because I had those big old acetate glasses. I didn't want to add more glasses to it, even though I did really like the sentiment. So I'm just kind of trying to decide what the title is going to be. I really like this "love you more than all of the stars in the sky," and that works for me, so I decided to put it down. And now I'm going to use these stars as sort of like the same way you would use enamel dots. They're a little bit bigger than enamel dots, and so they take up a little more room, which I think really helped this composition. But as I start putting them down, I start realizing that the big stars are just not going to work with what I want to happen on this layout. So I'm going to start taking them up and trying to figure out something else that would work instead. But I do really like the way that the stars look, the little stars look on this page. So once I start enjoying the way that that looks, it starts helping me to sort of solidify the way I want this layout to work. So I really like the way that they frame this photo, and they sort of cut into some of the dead space on the photo, and I think that that's really helpful. So I like the way that this looks. So this is going to stay. So now that I know that this is going to stay, what do I do up here to make it not look weird and blank? And so, of course, like I always do, I work backwards and I decide to add ink or color to the layout after it's already mostly done. So I'm going to stick down all of these stars, and then I'm going to use the packaging technique for this photo for this layout with some Catherine Pooler inks, and I'm going to go ahead, pull this whole composition apart again, and spray some water with some ink. This is Catherine Pooler ink. I do test it out beforehand, and I'm happy that I did because I didn't have enough water on it, and I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to plop it right down here and put some of that teal sort of aqua color on this page. The thing is that when I print my printables through Office Depot, sometimes the color is a little bit off. So this beautiful aqua color printed really blue with the Office Depot prints, and when I printed the acetate from my computer, it printed really aqua. So I felt like I needed some aqua ink pad color in here to pull the whole thing together, and I think that that really helped and worked. And now I can add in these little stars into that sort of aqua watercolor space, and it really helps to fill up that page and make it feel like it's done. So now that I have that done, I'm going to head over to Photoshop, and I'm going to start adding my journaling to the already printed journal card. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this journal card into Photoshop on an 8.5 by 11 canvas, and then I'm going to add in a line of journaling per line that is already on this journaling card. So I'm going to go ahead and just add a bunch of placeholders, clicking and dragging so that they duplicate themselves all the way down the page. And then once I have them aligned to the lines on the traveler's notebook, I'm going to go ahead and fill in with my journaling. So you can see I'm just clicking and dragging and duplicating. If you hold down Command Option while you click and drag, they will just automatically duplicate. And then you can fill in each line with your preferred journaling rather than this placeholder journaling. So once I have all of the lines, I just go ahead and replace the text. And then I'm going to go ahead and once it's done, I reduce the fill opacity of this traveler's notebook card so that it is transparent. So let me adjust this text here. All right. Now we can take the transparency of the traveler's notebook signature and we're going to drop the fill down to 0. And why we do the fill instead of the opacity, if we take the opacity down to 0, the overall opacity, it won't show this stroke outline that we added. And the stroke outline that we added is going to make it so that we align the already printed traveler's notebook card to this page correctly. So I'm going to print it just like it is, and then I'm going to turn off that traveler's notebook signature so that that black line doesn't print. And once I have my traveler's notebook signature washi taped over this journaling that I have already printed, just like this, it is going to print directly onto that traveler's notebook signature with no problems. Now, my printer specifically kind of sometimes messes up when I washi tape things to other papers, and you can see that there's kind of a black smudge or two. I can cover this one up with this tag, but the one over there on the right hand side of the thing, it needs to be covered up. So we're good here, but I'm going to go ahead and take this star and I'm just going to put it right off the edge and let it cover up that black smudge. It's a risky run with printing on already printed things, but sometimes it happens and you just have to go with it. I have this velvet rickrack that is, I think, from a Citrus Twist Kits, the Citrus Twist Kits 2023 Christmas collection that matched perfectly. So I just filled in that extra space down there and I tied this string onto the tag and adjusted a little bit, and then we are good to go. And I really love the way this came out. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. There is a whole YouTube hop linked in the description box below for the Over the Moon collection with the Traci Reed Designs team that I would love for you to check out. And I will see you next time. Thank you.